February 23rd, 9:34 a.m., District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Frankly, there was still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. I've won every single case. Okay? I won every single case. So, I don't need advice from you. I mean, I think she's basically saying I'm lying. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there's one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Well, if you're gonna confess to it... My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out of this one. I'll be alone in there, so I have to discover the truth all by myself. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Do you have to be? February 23rd, 11 a.m., District Court number 9. Number 9? Man, we've never been in number 9 before, I don't think. I didn't even know there were 9 courtrooms. Is it the same judge? Are judges like clones? Did they like clone the judge? They just have judge clones? It's like always the same judge, no matter what courtroom we go to, we always have the same judge. He's got no hair on the top of his head, and he's got a big beard. It's always the same judge. It's never a different judge. Yet there's at least 9 courtrooms. Right? Anyway, court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she is rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Yep, there she is. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Your order, the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar. I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks? Will the witness state her name for profession. Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? This is why everyone raves about caviar. It is so tasty, it hurts! I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Yeah, I know, right? Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I am not finished eating. Get up. No. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said in the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Star was a detective? Aha! I know you who you are. Cough up. Cough up, Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with your description, Miss Star. Just who is this lady? Does she make people talk? If I might have, yeah, I know it does. I know it does. It very much sounds like a poor name, but it's clearly not, right? If I might have the court's attention over here. Oh, here's the thing. The parking lot of the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. Block A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for the visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep the visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes? Oh, it's the judge. I suppose it's to keep the visitors from taking up prosecutor's spaces, yes? The crime took place by the car in the back of A block, in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. What? Unfortunately for her, there was a witness and her arrest was made on the spot. And who is this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Okay, we got the plans. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. That seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star. Wait, are they talking about me? Witness's account! Somehow I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to the garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then he thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife, which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about it. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. See, Edgeworth lets me do this. Unlike Von Karma, who was just... He would just like, oh, they don't need to cross-examine him. It's just a brr. That's what he would do. That's my exact... That's what he said. What does he mean? What do you mean by that? How do you know? How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erase inconvenient evidence at their whim. Killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an execution of that. Star, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. She did it! Laid off? She was fired? She's got a motive. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, you may continue, Miss Star. Really? You know, I know nothing about the Japanese legal system at all, so... This boyfriend, he's a detective? Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. Now, I'll stick with the lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with a security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunch boxes by the car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was... The sense something. We gotta question that. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. Oh, why would she have killed another detective? She would have killed a prosecutor, but she could have wanted to frame somebody else for it. So she killed him to frame somebody else. A young cheese. A pale white cheese, not yet tame with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Then I must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. By garage, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car? Yes. Mr. Edgeworth. Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's, wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure that it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's do what we can, even if we don't have any proof. We can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Here we go. You are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism. I believe I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. The moment of the crime is photographed by Angel Star, but it doesn't have a timestamp on it. Oh, that is unmistakably Ilana Sky. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Hold it! Tell me more about this knife that the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? Is it your knife, after all? Yeah, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well-versed in the location of a man's vital organs. I'm sure it is easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as her... You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg, I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. The defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Guzman's chest, but he got stabbed in the stomach! Hold it! Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defendant has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late. Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. What do we do? This is it. Is my sister guilty? Let me keep her head cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Okay, I know the testimony to question. He got stabbed in the stomach, not in the chest. I went past it. I accidentally went past it. The autopsy report says he died of a wound to the stomach. I heard he died of a wound to the stomach. Oh, this says chest wound, though. I heard somebody said he was stabbed in the stomach. Who said he was stabbed? I could have swore I heard somebody say he was stabbed in the stomach. The only thing I can think of is that there's not a knife in her hand there. It's literally the only thing I can think of. I mean, I'll present it. Objection! And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I already said, yes. I swear it was my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. Isn't this the photo you took of the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever-feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. Objection! And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains of the chief prosecutor's coat? But that's a black and white photograph. Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but... Yeah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Should I object? Should I object? Probably. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Skye was cold calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was premeditated murder.
Objection!
Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it.
Hold it!
I'm gonna press on that. What if she was just in a habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do a murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was premeditated. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that it wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. Stop saying that! You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty real to me. What do we do? Is this it? Oh, yeah, she already with this. For some reason, having her panicking next to me. Yeah, wait. Don't smile like that. Okay. How was she able to get that picture? Like, how was she able to get that picture? That was a pretty good picture for her to take with all these cars there. Let's look at this. Well, I mean, she could have been right on the other side of the fence. I don't know. The fence is right there. I don't think that's necessarily evidence. And it's crooked. If it was why would she use it? Why would she have used Edgeworth's knife, though? Like, that seems weird. It seems like she would have brought a murder weapon and not have used Edgeworth's. Unless she was trying to frame Edgeworth. And it's all things seems like somebody was trying to frame Edgeworth for a crime. Let's try this. Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? What the heck? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. It seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. Oh. Haha. The sweat! The knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Ugh. Oh, her lunches! Order. Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister is as good as free. No, she's not. Oh, Edgeworth is doing that thing again. Right? I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing that the prosecution need to prove, nothing else. Very, very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Alright, we're gonna get more testimony. Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife again and again. Why is he not objecting to this? The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I order a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? In any case, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Alright.
Hold it!
You said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's why I'm about to tell you, rookie. I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she was about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again. Rookie. Don't call me rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of an oven half-baked. Something's half-baked here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. I've never lost a case, Edgeworth! Now, why do you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office.
Hold it!
You have no proof that this guy called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There's no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Skye's phone. She might have written him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first, at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Witness, why do you think it was? Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. How do you know that? What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? See, we agree there is a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Wouldn't you agree? I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction.
Objection!
Please. You can't find fault with something of such substance. Mr. Wright, note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's sighs smell like citrus fruit. You say again and again? How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed was done? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. But she didn't. Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. The star has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we first met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. A short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax, and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Okay, I think we gotta do I think that's the one we have to challenge, because it was one stab wound.
Objection!
You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Star. Hmm? What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states the death was due to loss of blood from one stab wound. You're right. Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk. He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness, you got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splatter blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. This sounds dumb. Like, the fact that we're even continuing this testimony when they just back off and yeah. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's ghastly how the whole scene was. What? What? Her red... What? What? What are you talking about? Muffler is a scarf, but she doesn't have... Yeah, okay, a muffler is a scarf. Alright. She doesn't have a scarf, though.
Objection!
Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be. Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations, perhaps you've finally found your true calling in life. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well now. Where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of our testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind the partition off to her side. Okay. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Yeah, you are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. Wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother with me details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. They're venomous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. An oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. What do I get a cross-examine? After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side.
Hold it!
So, where is this partition on the floor plans? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, but about 8 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights, and arrested her on the spot.
Hold it!
You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details. There's a fence in the way! I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The lunch lady's car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked at B block. So you witnessed the murder from here. That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there's a chain-link fence in front of me. I went over it, of course. Amazing. Coffin Queen lunch lady athlete, indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have got to her sister that fast. Yeah, that fence is about 9 feet high. Oh, it does have a top. So how did this guy not get away? Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned her muffler.
Hold it!
She mentioned the muffler? What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So, what did you hear? What you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... Ask further. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately. My memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court has not seen the star. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. And so she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testimony? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please the rookie defense attorney. I saw it all. How she tried to tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead.
Hold it!
Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to say, ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen, close rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, he climbed over the chain link. Fence. Then when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star resistance is futile.
Hold it!
But wait a second, that doesn't make sense. She made to escape? Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pate of faux gras. She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on the side of the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The parking lot entrance. That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent, more mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run. I'm sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am, but she didn't do it. You have to believe me. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to the side. Okay, we gotta do the whole thing. All right. I don't know what to do here. Let's look at our stuff. Let's see what we got here. Wait a second. She wouldn't be able to see that. Would she? Let's present these. Miss Star, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You, who together with the chief prosecutor kicked me out 2 years ago. Well. Well, Miss Star, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How would you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of the partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Oh, there go her lunches again. Order. What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies.
Objection!
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw it, the order of events. I'm gonna go with where she saw it, because she must have been somewhere else. Because she couldn't have seen the phone call. I'm gonna go with where she saw it. This guy tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie, I see. But say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using the emergency phone. It would mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location.
Objection!
A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when he saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star witnessed this crime was here. The security room. It was the security room. I think it was... Wait. No, she couldn't have taken the picture, though. I think I'm gonna say the security room anyway. Which means she could... This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security room is the underground parking lot Agreed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you bought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could be turned. Today a man has gotten the better of Angel Starr. Why is she lying about this? Like, if this is true, why would she lie about this? Order. Witness. What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished. And I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. Guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright? Doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. That's what I just said! Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. This photograph, it was the defendant who stabbed the victim. The truth still stands.
Objection!
It still stands. I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without good reason. So tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it in Blue B block. Let's make a vital difference, but what? What would that change? Well, the angle of view to the crime, it would change, yes. The distance to the crime, I think it's the angle of view to the crime, but it could be the distance as well. Wait, she couldn't have reached... I don't think she could have... Could she have captured her? Like, could she have actually... I don't know. A difference in lighting is not right. It's either angle of view to the crime or distance to the crime. And I think it's distance because she ran to chase her, and it doesn't seem like... I don't know how she'd be able to get there. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright. But one look at the floor plan is quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not the question here. What matters is the time that it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Huh? Miss Starr, you witnessed this crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness, you... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime through the glass-walled station. And before I knew it, what I was doing, I found myself running toward the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Okay. That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking lot in B block. That's quite a detour. Yes, it is. It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was the woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do you have any evidence to stop this?
Objection!
5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest? Think about it. You could make pasta in that amount of time. You can make pasta in that amount of time if you like it al dente. I've got lunch boxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank? Isn't that strange? Strange? If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. This guy dwelled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah. Oh, she went. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. Donald. The witness has a grudge against the defendant, and a blank in her testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the one she tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. This is your jumbo lunchbox. Woohoo! A triple-decker. Out of deference to the witness's determination, I will allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What is she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of fact, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other blood type matched that of the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was the blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs.
Objection!
Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I cannot accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, the shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Really? Okay. Oh, now he's mad. Edgeworth is mad. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Victim's shoe. It seems like she did it, or she has the motive. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. What? I've got to cross-examine again? But what's the second rule? Yeah, why didn't you mention it? Why did you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. The results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab a victim before my own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. Oh, she's trying to claim that the prosecutors would prevent her from getting, like, found guilty. This is when the suspect is admitting she did. When the suspect is admitting she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not?
Hold it!
And you found this shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. I wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So, like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with the shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe is my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more lunchboxes. Gentlemen, I'm happy for you in your lunchbox bag, really. In any case, you removed the valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us, what you did next. 2 types of blood were found in this shoe. One, of course, was the victim's. I'm gonna press this too. So you bought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you needed to prove. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensics expert. So she got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. The shoe does appear to have bloodstains on it. Well, the man was stabbed after all. And that blood belonged to the victim, Detective Goodman. As I said, there are 2 types of blood found on the shoe. And the other blood type matched that of the defendant. But why would there be blood on it? You can't say for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. It's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we can differentiate between millions of types with all blood tests out there, which means that we can more or less narrow any sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. Are they not? What about DNA evidence? Maybe it was Simpson's DNA. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more oh, there we go, DNA. They're talking about DNA. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten DNA test results. But they say there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies. So the suspect's blood was found on the victim's shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I I was afraid he was going to say that. The shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence.
Hold it!
You can't let this evidence get through without a fight. You ordered the peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Mr. Wright, do you not have a problem with this shoe? A problem? This is critical. Is there a problem with the victim's shoe? I feel like there is a problem, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. I'm gonna pick there's a problem. If I'm not imagining things, I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence. A clear contradiction. That gleam in your eye. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish gut now. But you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What is contradictory about the victim's shoe? Show us the problem with the evidence. Rotate. Just hit M. I think it's the blood on the bottom of the shoe. I think that's the problem right there. That's my thought. It's the problem. It's the blood on the bottom shoe.
Take that!
I wonder if you noticed, but there's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie, or it'll be your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. It makes sense, the victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of his shoe? Oh! Wait. Was that his blood or not? Oh my god, this game is really trying to make us deduce, you know? I'm guessing it's the picture. We want to present the picture.
Take that!
The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint. Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Ah! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about his shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. Then where are they, Mr. Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. It's true, we didn't. Order. Well, witness. What, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that a lack of a footprint is a contradiction, but then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright. Think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. Devious. She's devious. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful, but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman, roar. I thought it was strange. It was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum,
Hi, Dr. Nick.
was it empty? Oh, that. I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. So apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? To cover up the footprints? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Ooh! Oh no, now I got hit with a ooh! That ties things up nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoes tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please. What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor? Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else.
Objection!
Time for deliberations is past. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare me, the cough-up queen. Look at this. A photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait, look at the asphalt in this photo. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt in the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this at the case at the beginning, and it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Ugh! Get yourself up off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. It's time to declare the verdict for good.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can I hand down my verdicts at peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. This trial isn't over. until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph. The muffler! The muffler!
Take that!
The problem is this in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf of any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So, what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Objection!
Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's nothing. It's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case.
Take that!
Easy. Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler? Ugh. Ew. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means the piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh. Well, it seems we will have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? Yeah, I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice to the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once, and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Whew. That was close. But we made it, at least for now. The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime, after all. He's still hungry? To be continued.